I guess you've done a lot of work on trying to estimate when and how large any fines are going to be with regards to money laundering. So update us on your preparations there.
Well, I don't know if we have spent a lot of time on exactly that so far. Right now, we are gathering sort of the overview of potential cases. We're working that through. It's way too early to discuss the potential of fines or other sanctions. What we have done though is we have elevated our capital targets, so we are well prepared to meet potential sanctions.
Are you also prepared to make sure something like this never happens again? Or is that an issue that's going to take time, Jesper?
I think in terms of whether exactly something like this could happen again, I think that would be very difficult to see in today's Danske Bank. Remember that this took place between 2007 and 2015. We have since then invested massively in our efforts to combat financial crime. So we have ramped up, so we are now more than 1,200 staff basically working on this every day. And we invest heavily in terms of IT, both in terms of monitoring and screening transactions. So we're in a completely different place today. But obviously, a big focus area for us is also to actually explain to the market in general that we are actually in a different place.
Okay, and your investigations...
so much sorry, I think we were basically going to ask, I think, the same question, Anna, which is, if you've invested so much and done such solid investigations, have you found any sanctioned individuals, or have you come up with any idea of who may be the ultimate beneficiaries from the UK limited partnerships and the Russian intermediaries here? I mean, have you made any progress?
We are making progress every day. There's no changes to the picture that we painted on the 19th September when we released our report.
Are you able to identify the individuals, though, or is it very difficult to get behind some of these UK limited partnerships and Russian intermediaries? How close are you to identifying the actual beneficiaries of these accounts?
We are working on that every day, and we're in dialogue with authorities around that, but I can't go into specifics around exactly how that is done.
All right, let's talk about the business side of the story then. How is your outlook for trading income, Jesper, for the rest of the year and for 2019?
We don't generally guide on trading income. We can see when we look at third quarter, though, that there is a little pickup compared to earlier in the year. We hope that will continue and that activities in that part of our activities will increase. But trading is trading, so that could go either way.
I understand that, Jesper, the Danish pension fund, ATP, has decided to stick with your business as a long-term shareholder. When you have conversations with shareholders such as ATP, what do you need to do you've kept them on board. What do you need to do to keep others on board?
I think several things that we're working on right now. First of all, I think it's important that people can feel that we are truly sorry, and that we take this very, very seriously in terms of making sure this will not happen again. So that's point number one. Secondly, I think being transparent, being able to share our learnings, making sure that we're also transparent about how do we actually work in terms of governance, in terms of monitoring, in terms of our dialogue with training of staff, etc. So they understand how difficult it has become to use Danske Bank for financial crimes.
Let's talk about what you can do for your shareholders. Will the financials be good enough so that you can resume buying back shares? You're going to be able to give money back to shareholders. You have a policy of quite a hefty chunk of profits, right? 40 to 60%.
We are, in terms of share buybacks, I think it's fair to say we stopped the 2018 share buyback, and it would be uncertain as to whether we would do that in 2019. But I think in terms of that, it's fair to say that we are more preoccupied with being seen as prudent in terms of capital these days than necessarily handing back capital to the shareholders. In terms of normal dividends, we still aim to pay out between 40 and 60%.
Jesper, can you give us a number, an indication of just how much you spend on identifying financial crime now versus the period we've been talking about in the Baltics? Just how the size and scope, how much more seriously does Danske take this?
Well, if you look at just number of staff back in 2015, I think we were about 300 people in our compliance unit working with this area. We are now 1,200. We invest in terms of regulatory programs. We invest about 650 million Danske kroner every year in terms of staying on top of regulatory requirements under that AML as well. So it is a significant part of our investments and time that goes with this.
I want to finally ask about net interest margins and the interest rate environment. How do you see it now, and do you expect the ECB to really start to normalize soon, Jesper?
We obviously follow that closely. I think the signals from the ECB is that we will see normalizations at the end of the year. Obviously, that is always subject to developments in the market, but so far I think we will start seeing that at the end of the year.